Welcome to the Take a Listing Today podcast, where our hosts Jim Studebaker and Todd Robertson give you strategies to get you out of the office right now so you can take a new listing today. And now, here's Jim and Todd.
Welcome back to the Take a Listing Today podcast. We are so glad that you are with us, and we have an amazing topic today, don't we, Todd?
We have an outstanding topic that's going to help you do what the title says, which if you implement this strategy today, this will help you take a listing before the sun goes down and also build more momentum to make this happen time and time and again.
Exactly. And our topic is how you can dominate your geographic farm area. So along with Todd, we have our executive producer, Lisa Gray, with us.
Hello.
All right.
Excited about this topic.
Wonderful. This is a wonderful topic because every agent knows you have to have a farm area in order to be successful, and you need to continuously put your name and face and what you do in front of those people. But a lot of especially new agents say, well, how do I pick the perfect area?
Exactly. So they're not only think, how do I pick the perfect area, but they have to deal with the stigma. A lot of realtors have that bad stigma, right? For back in the day, oh, farming's terrible. Farming, we got to design, edit, layout, cut, paste. Well, with, modern technology, it's easier to do now to put a passive system in place that will bring you more business.
Exactly. So let's go over just a few of the best practices in picking a farm area. First of all, you want to pick your farm area near where you live because you're going to be spending a lot of time in this area. You don't want to be racking up thousands of miles on your car driving across town. If it's somewhere where you live, you're close to it, you can get there quickly, and you're going to care more about that area.
And not only that, plus you'll know who's hitting your area and who's not, who's marketing there, who's not. So that right there would just make the best sense if you love that area and want that area.
Exactly. Plus, you're going to be familiar with that area because you live right there. It should be in a price range that you are familiar with because you have experts that are in luxury homes, experts in whatever's on the other end of that, mobile homes, I guess.
Right.
So whatever area that you're comfortable with in your sales, it should be that type of an area. The right demographic is important, something that fits your personal selling style and your characteristics, and one that is not too competitive.
Exactly. And I have conversations with realtors every week about that. And sometimes that matters, sometimes it doesn't. If they're competitive, meaning they show up quarterly on a cheap piece of paper, I say let's take them. We could take them down easy because they're showing up quarterly on a cheap piece of paper. Once we get into the strategy of what we want you to do, our agents are not going to be showing up like that. As opposed to that, they will be dominating their real estate career and not just dabbling.
Exactly. So we've talked about a few areas that you should focus on. What should you not do? Well, you shouldn't go into an area that maybe has a different vibe or drastically different demographic than you. I mean, if you're a 75-year-old real estate professional, and there's a lot of wonderful ones out there, you might not do the best in a farm area that's full of 20 and 30-year-olds.
Correct.
You also don't want to pick an area of a neighborhood that you know nothing about because either you're going to have to do a lot of research to become the neighborhood expert or you're going to have a lot of blank stares when people ask you questions about the neighborhood.
That's a great point because once you pick whether it's a carrier route or your neighborhood or your farm, you want to know your market statistics. So you want 3 or 4 things that you know. So in this area, the average days of the market's this. The average list to sell price is this. So you want to know your stats, be very congruent because when you have a conversation at the clubhouse, at the tennis court, out at a restaurant, out walking, and someone asks you 1 or 2 questions, boom, you're sharp on it. And they're like, wow, get her the listings, get her the referrals, she's sharp.
Right. You know that off the top of your head. You don't have to say, well, let me get back with you on that. So,
right.
Excellent. So an average farm area for maximum impact is going to have between 500 and 1,000 homes in it. That's a sweet spot that consistently is true over and over. Mm-hmm. And you want a turnover rate of at least 8%. And for those who don't know, can you explain what a turnover rate is?
Sure. A turnover rate, and I'm really not stuck on that number 8% after having thousands of conversations with realtors. A turnover rate just means that I'm a realtor and this square piece of paper is my farm, my geography. All right, so ideally there's enough turnover rate to get me a lot of transactions, okay? However, There are some other variables. So if the turnover rate is a little bit smaller, but there's no competition, and you live there, and you love the area, and you're willing to go be present in the area, okay? If you're willing to do these things, now it makes a lot more sense.
And there's a lot of good tools to look up turnover rate. Your MLS is a great way to see how often homes are selling.
Exactly. Your broker is going to know that. Yep.
Exactly. So once you've got the ideal farm area, now you need to create a budget. So how do we do that? So you've got to set aside a certain amount of money for the year to market to this farm. And there's a few things that we want you to base that on. One is direct mail. Direct mail is a great way to stay in constant contact with your farm area.
Let me elaborate on direct mail because it's so fascinating that we've seen this, and I did not anticipate this years ago, but in a world of technology overload, direct response marketing has become more efficient and effective than ever before. People did not see this on the radar.
Exactly.
I mean, it's really, when it was everybody zigs, you zag.
Right.
So our realtors doing direct mail and doing it consistently, and we'll chat about that, are getting amazing results because they're mixing it up.
They are. A lot of agents are not doing this next idea, door hangers. And we talked about that last week on our show. Hang door hangers everywhere in your farm area and actually go up and knock on the door.
Knock on the door. And door hangers are so great because number one is very passive. Number two, if you meet them, you could have just a small dialogue and make an introduction. It doesn't have to be salesy. But you could do the old Columbo as you're walking away. Oh, by the way, who do you know that needs to sell their house in the next 90 days because our inventory is low and we help people sell properties. We just don't take listings.
Perfect. So another idea is to sponsor events in the area that the farm area might be interested in. Charity events or a sports team and a bowling league. A lot of areas are going to be very receptive to you being able to sponsor their team, buy the bowling shirts for people in the area.
That's one of my favorites. Here's why. So if you're the realtor and you're farming an area, and I live in that area, I'm getting your marketing piece. Well, if I met you once or twice in a non-sales environment, I'm going to like you more and have more rapport. So now when that marketing piece hits, oh, that's Jim Studebaker. He's larger than life. He shows up every month. Get him the listings, get him the referrals. So if they can be present in their area somehow at a community event, there's great magic in that because it's very, very easy, very gentle. And now their marketing piece hits. They're like, oh, wow. So I love that point.
Now, all these great ideas won't do you a lick of good if you don't make a commitment.
Right, because action supersedes everything.
And there's actually a law of branding. I don't remember if it's a federal law or a state law. Lisa, maybe we can look that up.
Yeah, I'll get back.
But it's the marketing law 3727. And Todd, could you elaborate on those numbers?
Yeah, we have no idea what those are. Someone just typed them in this morning.
Okay, perfect. Well, let's move on then.
No, so there is actually a law of branding, and I did put that in my book when it came out last year, Become a Listing Legend. It's simply the 3727 law of branding. It means this: if you break the law, you don't get branded. So as a result, 90% of agents will not get branded. So the law just says that if I'm going to do a campaign, if I'm going to do a farm, whether it's my past client centers of influence or my geographical farm, it means that it takes 3 contacts for someone to recognize me. It takes 7 contacts for someone to say, oh, that's Todd, I like him. It takes 27, the 3727 law of branding, 27 impressions, contacts, for someone to say, oh, that's Lisa, she's a realtor, get her the listings. And NAR tells us that if a realtor is going to start a campaign of some sort, whether it's farming, right, that most of them get excited, yet they quit before the 5th contact. See, our people aren't going away.
And if they quit after contact number 5, is that going to do them any good?
No, they've spent a lot of money and they've kind of thrown in the towel, and the next realtor will come in and do 2 or 3, and then they'll leave, 2 or 3, and they'll leave.
But then there will be one person who is there consistently, and that's the one who is going to get the listings.
Correct. Show up as large as you can. 12 by 15 is the largest legal size available. Show up consistently every single month and try to weave in some of these other things. So weave in a door hanger, weave in volunteering at your community event, right? So now they get to meet you. Now your marketing piece hits. Guess what? Other people go away and play in a different sandbox at that point.
And there's a lot of reasons why you can contact people in your farm. It's not every time, hey, are you ready to sell your house? It could be simply giving a market update. Hey, I want to let you know what homes in the area are selling for. I want to let you know how long it's taking for homes to sell. You can provide a community Facebook page is wonderful. If there's not a lot of tech-savvy people in the area, volunteer to set that up so that community members can share information with each other. Newsletters for the community is another great way. You can send out newsletters to a specific community just to keep your name and face in front of people with recipes and fun facts and things like that.
Exactly. And another one is Nextdoor. Nextdoor is available out there, and it's a great free resource, right? There's a couple of verification steps to get there, but you can get recommendations for handyman. There are realtors always promoting there. There's a realtor section on Nextdoor right now. I mean, that's a great free resource if people are not using that.
So it's important when you are the neighborhood expert to actually be the expert and know what is going on in the farm area. So for example, anytime a home gets listed, you need to know about it. Even if you are not the person who listed that house, make sure that you know what it's for sale for, what the square footage is, bedrooms, bathrooms, etc.
Right.
And anytime somebody comes into the area, you need to welcome that new family to the area. Even if you weren't involved in it, stop by and say, hey, welcome to the area.
Correct. And I want to bring up another thought about this, because in terms of farming, compare it to the past, compare that to the present. Watch, people don't get paid to sit down, design, edit, layout, cut, paste, right?
Right.
And we as realtors, I did it, you might have done it when you were a realtor. Oh, I'm saving money, I'm going to do all this stuff. Well, if that's the mindset and you get home at the end of the day, honey, how was your day? Oh, it was great. I worked in my marketing all day. Well, that was not a great day, because if I'm a realtor, I get paid to do two things, prospecting, one appointments. So with companies like ours, and there's other great companies out there, find a company that will do this for you, make you look incredible for not a lot of money, so you have a passive system in place for you while you're prospecting every single day.
Exactly. Make it easy on yourself. If it's not a high priority activity like prospecting, presenting, closing,
right,
have somebody else do it. Outsource it.
Exactly.
So finally, in farm areas, you need to become the expert in your community. So in addition to knowing when homes are for sale, when new people move into the area, you want to know all the local businesses and the schools. Volunteer in the area. Anything that's important to the residents there, get involved with. Association meetings, if there's an HOA, attend those meetings.
Right.
They're all open. And discover the issues that are important to the homeowners in the area. Maybe it's something that has to do with new rules being put in place, or maybe all the septic systems need replaced, or something like that. Be involved in that and know what's going on.
And I like what you said about the small business owners, because if you're a realtor wanting to take over that piece of geography, what's going to help me accelerate my results very quickly? One of them is to go meet the small business owners, right? The person that owns the upscale Italian restaurant, the hair salon, the oil change, people that have repeat recurring customers. Let them know, hey, I'm the neighborhood specialist. Here's some things that are on the market, and they see me every month. So we're going to make magic. Our agents that are listening to this, write down some comments, implement the strategy. Feel free to engage. We will respond back, and we want you to take a listing by the end of today.
And that's our show. Thank you, Todd. Wonderful. Lisa, thank you as always. And our show today was brought to you by the fine folks at ProspectsPLUS. And they just happen to have a lot of great prospecting ideas for you, so you can stay the neighborhood specialist in your farm area. So be sure to check them out at ProspectsPLUS.com.
Making marketing work.
Yes, they do a wonderful job too. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you next week.